Hello, welcome back to my channel. I have finally decided to make my Christmas journal. This is going to be a very eclectic journal, and in today's video I'll show you how I make the cover from a Trader Joe's paper bag, and this is the tentative closure. I need to work more on this. So I'm actually sick again. Oh no. And I recorded the process of the cover throughout several days. So the rest of this video is going to be a voiceover. So I'll show you everything about how I made the cover, and also show you how I found all these pages that I'm gonna be using to put into my journal. So let's get started. Hey, this is voiceover me now. And here I'm showing you this Trader Joe's bag that I have saved since last year. So this is last year Christmas bag. I don't know what they would have now. And there are many ways that you can use a paper bag, a grocery bag, to make a journal cover or a whole journal. And there are a lot of good videos out there that you can check out. But I wanted to do something different with this because I wanted to keep the little houses. So it took me a while to figure out how I wanted to do it. My first thought was to use the whole bag to make the cover and sew in my signatures in between the folded bag. But then I decided that I'm gonna use the bag as paper. So I'm mostly using my craft knife. I thought this was the best idea, and then you'll see that I cut too much through and I ended up cutting the piece I wanted to use, but I was still able to use it, so no problem with that. So I started by cutting the bottom off. This is very hard to do. I don't think I did it the easiest way. It's a lot of paper, layers of paper, and this is a thick craft paper because it needs to resist your groceries. See, I'm showing you there that I cut through my window. So after I cut the bottom, I'm cutting through the seam of the bag where it's glued. And when you open the bag like this, you have so much paper. This is so much paper. But look at those beautiful gingerbread houses. I love this bag, and I wanted to use that design as the main focus of my cover. And here I'm using my Amazon envelope. I've actually made 3 journal covers out of this one envelope. So talk about reusing materials. So if you have an Amazon envelope like this one, this is just different layers of paper together, and it's great for covers. Just save it and use one. So this is the last piece I have of this envelope, and that's gonna be the base for my cover. I grabbed a piece of paper just to see the size that I want to have for this journal, and realizing that I still need to trim more. So I'm trimming, I think I'm trimming 3 centimeters off each side. I don't have any measurements, so I'm not gonna give you any measurements because I was just going with the flow. I had no idea how to do this. That's why I recorded this video without talking, because I said I'm just gonna try, and I wanted to record this video. I wanted to have you know, a track. I wanted to track the process of this cover. So here you can see that after I trimmed the sides, the layers of the paper separated of the envelope. So just gluing them together. I use glue stick for this, and now I'm realizing that it's not even, and I need to do some more trimming, and after the trimming there will be more gluing. I think this process would have been a lot straightforward if I wasn't sick while doing this. I mean, I'm still sick while talking. I do have COVID. I'm fine though, but it kind of affects my brain a little bit. So, that foggy feeling. And I had to do this throughout a few days, and I don't know, I think I work like 10 minutes at a time. So you'll see how the lining's gonna change, my clothing's gonna change throughout this video, because I was working a little bit and then resting. At least I have some energy to do some crafting, even if it's 10 minutes at a time. So here I'm deciding, after I figure out the size of my cover, I'm deciding now what houses I want to have in the cover. So, and because I need to figure that out to cut this paper, this massive bag. This barely fit in my desk. It's a huge bag. So I decided for those two houses there, and or I guess it's three, and I'm trimming this paper. Well, we'll see. I don't even remember. So I'm trimming the paper now, just to have the final. Oh, it is two houses. Okay, it is two houses. I was looking at wrong. And I'm marking there. It's just a very reference mark at the top to see where I'm gonna cut at the top. You'll see that I end up cutting way off where my mark is, and I'm erasing the mark there. But that's fine, because that was the minimum I needed, because I wanted to leave some extra paper all throughout the edges of my cover, and you'll see why in a second here, because I'm gonna fold those extra pieces of paper over the cover. So basically this is just your regular making cover when you use either paper or fabric. You always want to have some extra material around your edges so you can fold it over. And I'm using my art glitter glue here to glue the cover onto the paper. I am not being very particular about the glue, because I am going to sew my cover, which is not going to happen until a lot later, but I will sew the cover, as you will see. But it's very hard to glue this paper, the envelope paper, because it has so many it has a lot of texture, because it has a lot of layers in between. So it's not a flat paper, but you can still glue it. It's just a little bit tricky. So what I just did that was to cut the corners of my paper so that it's easy when you fold the paper in. You can have nice corners. Is that what I said? I cut the corners. So I apologize if none of this makes sense. As I said, I'm still sick. I do want to get this video out soon, because I'm gonna continue working on this journal, and I want to finish this before Christmas. If I don't start now, I don't think I will finish before Christmas. So this is part one. I'll probably just do two parts. We'll see how that goes. But this is part one of my Christmas journal. And here I'm just folding over, as I mentioned before that I was gonna do. And it looked nice, but I did realize that it's not even. My envelope was not perfectly even, but that's fine, because this is gonna be a very true junk journal. It's gonna be an eclectic junk journal made out of recycled material mostly. So now I'm cutting a piece of paper to cover the inside of my cover, and I'm measuring the right size now, because I like to leave a little extra space. So I think now I have the right size, or mostly the right size. And why am I turning it that way? Oh, there we go. So now the gluing part, this is always the tricky part for me, because when you glue a whole piece of paper in the inside of a cover, you need to allow for a space for folding, because your journal is going to fold, and if you don't allow that space, then when you fold it, your paper is just not gonna have enough give, and it's gonna get unglued. So the other option that you have to avoid this is to just cut two panels for each inside cover and cover the spine with either fabric or a different type of paper, or sometimes I use washi tape. But I wanted to use just one piece of paper to cover the entirety of my inside cover. So I did it in phases, as I'm showing you here. I covered one side first, then I didn't add any glue to my spine, and I did that after I finished the one panel, and then I slowly glued the second panel, and that worked. So there I'm just gluing some extra detail things, and I also glued the part that I had cut through with my knife by accident. And I'm using the handles to create some sort of closure, so I just glued them down. And so now it's the next day. I put my bullet journal on top of my cover overnight to help it fold better. And I'm working now on creating a pocket. I like my inside covers to have pockets. I was really trying to decide if I really wanted a pocket, because having a pocket would mean that it was gonna cover the houses. But then I said, yeah, I still want a pocket there. So I used more of the paper from the paper bag. As I said, this is tons of paper. I'll keep using this. So, but instead of using the part with the design, I'm just using the regular craft color side. I cut a thumb notch there. And now I'm gonna start inking all the edges. I was using my, well, I forgot what's the name of that color? I forgot. So that's what I'm using for that. Okay, yes, potting soil, my archival ink. Then I remembered I had that packaging from a water bottle that has that very nice design, and I had saved it to use as a stencil. So I was testing it to see if it would work with my Posca pens, and it does. So that's what I'm doing. I decided to do some stenciling on the craft paper. Look at that. I loved it. And then I went with my white pen to do some dots to mimic what's already in the bag. And then I said, why not more stenciling, but now in white? So that's what I'm doing there. Honestly, this part was very fun. I think I just want to go back and grab the rest of the paperback that I have and do some mark making. It's super fun. I'm telling you, these paperbacks are awesome for paper source. If you need paper, see if you have any paperbacks at home. I unfortunately have too many paperbacks because I keep forgetting to bring my own bags to the store. So that's what's happened. And now I'm working on the other pocket. So the one that goes in my back inside cover. So I'm gonna make this smaller. I'm using the rest of that paper that I had cut initially for the first pocket. And I'm using the side that has the white dots just to have something different. I didn't want my two pockets to be exactly the same, and I'm adding some gold dots that you can barely see here, but I can see them. So then I remembered I ordered my own stickers and I haven't used them. I've had them for a few weeks now and I haven't used them. I'm so excited. I designed my own stickers. So now if you ever receive something from me, like a journal or something, it's gonna say Homemade with Love by Karina. That's me from Aurora's window. I'm so happy. It's the little things that make me happy. So I decided to put it. This is the first journal where I'm putting my sticker. And I did it like off the side. I don't know if I like the position there, but I wanted to do it now because I then went ahead and sewn all around, and I knew that the sticker was gonna be on the way of the sewing machine, so I decided to put it right before I was gonna sew my cover. Otherwise, I think I would have liked to put the sticker once my journal is finished. Okay, so this is when I realized that my potting soil wasn't dark enough to ink this paper, although it worked for my pockets. I didn't like it for the entire cover, so I used Vintage Photo. And now I'm looking for metal corners. I think I bought these metal corners on Amazon. I have a lot of them, and I'm using gold. And before doing the metal corners, I'm adding some little gold dots that you can barely see, but they look like Christmas lights on the windows, and I really, really like them. I still don't know what to do with the cover. Like, the cover needs a front piece or a book name or something. And I haven't decided because I don't want to cover the houses. But I think in that little part of the sky where it's only, you know, dots, white dots, I think that's where I'm going to probably write journal or something. I kept looking at it and thinking, what am I going to do? Then I saw the handles, and I'm still not sure if I want to do that. So that's the cover. That's how I made the cover, and it's done. And now it's time to search for pages. So my idea to make a Christmas journal came to me last year, but I never did it because I didn't have time to do it. Because I had this book in particular that had some Christmas images, and I said, well, this would go great in a journal, in a junk journal, because I like to add images, pages from books. Either I'm trying to see the size of my cover. So, and I kept seeing things in all my books. I have this wreath book that has those beautiful Christmas wreaths. So that I was showing you that fall one. It was beautiful. So I was just excited to go through my old books and magazines. All of this is things that I've bought secondhand. They are all very old, from at least the 90s, 1990s. But also I have some magazines from the 60s and on. I think this book it's from the 1990 something. And I'm taking a lot of those reads and trying to think, should I put this in the cover? And I haven't decided yet what I'm gonna do. So a lot of these are gonna be pages for my journal. And I sped this process up. The whole video sped up, but this process I sped it even more because I didn't want to bore you. I do like to show how I go through my magazines and I find images, because sometimes, I don't know, I think it's good to know that you can find things in everywhere and you don't need to buy new materials. If you have old magazines or books, you can find things that can go in your journals, especially if you like the eclectic and the junk journal, like the real junk journal style. And I like that, and I like to use materials that are reusable. So remember that I had this magazine with a lot of Christmas elements, and those pages that I think those pages came so that you could make pictures with them, like to hang them. So I'm using those images. So I kept looking. I think I didn't find any more. And then I had these Smithsonian magazines where I found that page that could go. And then that other. So stay tuned for part 2, where I show hopefully how I make my signatures and how I work in my pages. Here I'm showing you other stuff I found, some old cards and old wrapping paper. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time soon. Bye!